Hi creative minds, welcome to our channel. My name is Esther and this is Q-Est Fashion Hub. Thank you for always stopping by and thank you for always coming back to watch our videos. So guys, today I'm going to be teaching you how to achieve the lower part of the gown on the thumbnail. If this is what you want to learn, then keep watching. Now, to know how to fold your fabric, you first fold your fabric into two. And then after that, for you to know the quantity of fabric you're going to be folding, you're going to add 10 inches extra to your actual length of gown. I mean the lower part of the gown that you're going to be needing. So for me, I needed 43 inches including my allowances for the lower part. Okay, so what I did was to add extra 10 inches to it and then fold my fabric into two. Now after folding, you're going to be cutting this lower part of this gown in segments, like I mean in two parts. Okay, so you're going to first fold into two and then fold again in a bias form. I mean, you can fold it, they call it bias form or triangular form. Okay, after folding, because we're going to be cutting it in two places, you're going to divide your waist. Okay, so the waist I'm working with is 40 inches. I added 3 inches extra to it for my zipper allowance because I'm going to be turning the lining also. So I added 3 inches, that's 43 inches. So because I'm going to be cutting it in two places, I added extra 1 inch to it. Please pay attention to it, making it 44 inches altogether. So but because I'm going to be cutting it in two places, I'm going to be dividing that 44 into two. So if you divide 44 by 2, you're going to get 22 inches. Okay, so after getting that 22 inches, so the first flare you're going to cut, the waist is going to be 22 inches. The second flare you're going to cut, the waist is going to be 22 inches. Okay, so by the time you add everything together, you're going to get your actual waist measurement. So whatever waist you're working with, just do your calculation and divide by 2 first, and then after dividing by 2, then you get your measurement, and then you can now cut the flare in two places. Okay, because we are working with an Ankara fabric. Okay, so now after folding into two, that 22 that I talked about for the first waist, so for this flare I'm going to be using waist 22. Okay, the second flare is going to also be waist 22. So what you're going to do first is you're going to divide that 22 by 4. So 22 divided by 4 is 5.5. okay, so now you're going to place your tape rule like so, like you can see me do on the screen, to get your 5.5. so you put a point there. Can you see what I did? Just put a point there, and then from that point you see me placing my tape rule. You're going to measure whatever you have there. So for me, I had 6.5. okay, for me I had 6.5. so you're just going to measure 6.5 all the way around. So if you measure 6.5 all the way around, you're going to end up having your waist 22. okay, so after measuring, I just connected the points together, and then I'm trying to confirm if I had the 5.5 that I was looking for to get my waist. Okay, so after that I confirmed it, and then from that point you're going to start marking the length of the lower part of the gown that you need. Okay, for me I needed 43 inches, so I'm just marking 43 all the way from that waistline. Okay, so you're just going to go ahead and mark 43, whatever measurements you're working with, you're just going to go ahead and start marking. So if you have been following my channel, you should understand whatever I'm doing here, because I've uploaded a video that talked about this particular flare that I even cut out this flare, so you should understand. So can you see that we have a little shortage? It's not much. That is because we are cutting two flare. The shortage is not much. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut out my flare, like you can see me do on the screen. So after cutting down that lower part, after cutting the lower part, I just went ahead to cut the waistline. So can you see what I have now? I'm just trying to mark the right side to indicate the wrong side of the flare. So I also went ahead to place it and cut the second one. Can you see? So I'm trying to measure the shortage I have there is less than 4 inches. Okay, so now you're going to now fill in that part. So for the lower part, I'm going to be using this stay. Is a peplum stay, original peplum stay. It's not a paper stay. This one is far expensive than a paper stay. Okay, so it's like ×3 of paper stay. I think I got a yard for 900 naira per yard. Is the original one. So because I want this gown to have that effect on the thumbnail, so I'm going to be using this stay for it. So the way you cut out your flare, that's the same way you're going to cut out the stay that you're going to be using for it. Okay, now I'm just trying to explain to you that I'm going to be using stay for it. It's not part of the tutorial, but then that's what will give you the effect, that standing effect. So for that shortage we had at that part, I'm just going to grab this long piece and then I'll start pinning it all the way around. If you're working with a fabric that has pattern, please watch closely and then make sure you cut in a way that it matches the pattern the other part already had. Don't just cut, study the pattern and then know the parts the pattern is facing, so you can cut your fabric in a right way, so you don't end up doing something that doesn't look presentable. Okay, so I just went ahead to pin all the way around. We are just basically trying to fill in the shortage. So at this point I was done joining it. I went ahead to open all the seam allowances and ironed it properly. Please make sure you iron first before you start cutting. So after ironing, I just went ahead to trim the excess fabric that is there. Can you see where I joined it? This is the back, the wrong side of the fabric, but then we are going to flip it over to the right side. You see that the joining is not visible. Okay, can you see? It's not visible. It's not showing that this fabric was joined at the lower part. So can you see what I have here? So whatever I did to this first flare, I repeated the same thing to the second flare. Okay, that's the second one. Okay, so at this point I just went ahead to start pinning both of them together so you guys can see the effects we are going to have from it. So if you want it fuller, you can cut 3 of it or 4 of it. That is if you are using 12 yards of Ankara fabric. For this lower part I use 6 yards. Okay, so can you see the effect already, even though we haven't added our stay to it? So if you want your own fuller, you want the effect extremely full, you can use 12 yards of fabric. Okay, 12 yards of Ankara fabric. So I just put it on the mannequin. Can you see I had to pin it because the waistline is far bigger than the waistline of the mannequin, so I had to pin it with my pin to just make sure it fits on the mannequin's waist. Can you see the effect we are having already on the lower part? Just imagine when you add your stay and then you add your lining, just imagine how it's going to stand. Okay, so guys, can you see the effect? So if this tutorial has been helpful to you, please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Please hit on the like button. It helps YouTube to promote our content. Please subscribe. Okay, so that's the stay. You are going to cut the stay exactly the way you cut your main fabric, and then cut your lining exactly the way you cut your fabric. My name is Esther and this is Q-Est Fashion Hub. Don't stop learning, keep learning. See you in the next one. Bye.